A lot of you asked, and we answered. Lynn in St. Petersburg wants to know what happened to the Sunshine Laws. So does Sean in Winter Haven, and Brenda and Deborah in Tampa. But before we get into the nuts and bolts, there are some important new laws and changes in effect as of October 1st. Like HB 7003, OGSR Financial Technology Sandbox Applications. It's a mouthful. Now let's unpack it. OGSR stands for the Open Government Sunset Review Act. It's a law that requires the legislature to review public record exemptions every 5 years. If they don't renew an exemption, then it automatically becomes void. And what is a financial technology sandbox? Basically, it allows tech companies to test and develop new products in a controlled environment. Startups and fintech companies submit these applications to test new ideas without facing full regulatory requirements or risks, and the public won't know about them. Florida Sunshine is meant to ensure transparency, allow public participation, and foster public trust in government.
I think that transparency in government is something that is in our DNA.
Ted Bridis teaches public records laws at the University of Florida.
The good news is that Florida is pretty good. We have, I think the perception and somewhat reality is we have a better public records law than a lot of states.
The 1967 law is all about keeping things open and accessible, like meetings and records. It applies to government agencies statewide and those who do business with the state. But not everything is perfect. Bridis says there are some changes he'd like to see.
I think sometimes it takes too long to get the records once we request them. Some agencies are better and more expedient in fulfilling requests than others. Our governor's office is really slow. Partly it's because they get so many requests.
And you may have to pay for what you want.
They can charge you an hourly rate based on the salary of the employee who's doing the search.
Each year, the legislature passes exemptions or renews previous ones. Remember OGSR? 5 more exemptions were renewed in 2025 to keep certain information private. SB 7000 protects the specific location info for endangered and threatened species. SB 7004 keeps property photos and personal information private for people who apply for housing assistance. SB 7010 protects certain documents received by the Department of Financial Services. SB 7018 keeps information private that could identify a minor asking a court to waive parental consent for terminating a pregnancy. Some other exemptions that passed this year went into effect July 1st, like making the personal info of elected officials and their families private, and removing info from non-criminal court records that could defame or harm somebody's reputation. You can download the latest Sunshine Manual from the Attorney General's website, or Google Florida Sunshine Manual. Want to join the conversation or ask a question about state government? Well, coming soon, we'll break down how to request a record or what makes a meeting public.